Hey guys, it's Charlie from 187 Coded. Today I'm going to show you how I made my newest project, the red snake. As always, like and subscribe for more. Step 1, designing. Started my project with outlining my snake. Here it is right here. The idea just flooded in my head that I just wanted to make a snake, so I took 6 different panels and put them together to make the snake outline. Here's just the first rough outline of it. Then I went in and started filling in little details about them, like as far as like the shading and the stripes on the snake and all the other details that you'll see later. Step 2, painting. After I did my outline and filled in on my designs, I started to paint them. Started out with painting each background first, and then I went in and filled in the snake with a bright red. Each background has a different color. I used metallic acrylic paint to make it pop, give it a little flair. And this is what it looks like after I did the foreground and background. And here's the results once I added all the other details using marker paints. So yeah, here's what it's like together. And this is another view. This is before I started step 3, which is the epoxy stage. This stage, of course, is the most difficult one just because epoxy is difficult to work with. So after I did my mixture, here's me spreading it out across all 6 pieces. I used a little scraper to just spread it out. This did take 2 pours, so I did have to eventually come back the next day and pour another coat on top of it, just to give it a nice finished glossy look. And here's the final results after the second pour. I left the tape around it just because I needed the edges to be more defined, so I had to come back and take the tape off. But as you can see, it came out pretty well. After I took the tape off, the epoxy kind of just dripped down and glazed kind of the side, so it kind of just completed the whole look basically. I had to do it for all 6 panels, so it took me a little bit of time just because the tape and the epoxy was sticky. But here that is. And then after I took the tape off, I started to just go in and scrape the edges once it started to solidify, just to make sure that there were no drippings on the back, and if there were, that there would be at least minimal drippage. Make sure that it didn't stick to the surfaces. Step 4, framing. Of course, this is another custom frame build. I started out with just cutting up pieces of scrap wood and like layering them on the back side just to give it a little bit of a raise from the frame, just so that it's not sitting up. Since they were going to be alternating and cascading, they had to fit a little bit differently, so I couldn't really just go straight across. So here's me building out the back of the frame. This is what it's going to actually sit on the wall once you hang it up. Across the back of all 6 pieces. And here's me going to get the rest of the frame so I can test them out and lay them out and see how they fit on the frame, just to make sure I didn't have to do any adjustments. As you can see, I used a bracket to keep the wood in place. I also used wood glue to make sure it's still solidified. And after I wood glued it, I also nail gunned it just to make sure that the frame wouldn't budge and go anywhere. And here's me layering on the first piece. Like I said, I used glue and nail gun. I pretty much did that for all 6 pieces, which is what you see here. Me laying on the final piece after I glued and nail gunned and everything else. Here's me nailing down the final piece, making sure everything's good. Here's me going to get a rag just to wipe it down, make sure everything is nice and clear. Step 5, dancing. After everything was over, I had to do a little dance just to celebrate, just because I was excited about this project. It took me right around like a week to do, off and on. And it was just tiring. The epoxy really took me out. But here's the final results of how I made this and turned it into this. As always, like and subscribe for more, and follow us online at 187coded.com.